All right, what's up, guys? I'm back here again. Shop's clean. You can tell there's floor space there. This is a little cleaner. Still need to tackle that half, but it's clean. And my desk has been picked up for the most part. Just gonna figure out where to put some boards and stuff like that. But yeah, so so all that stuff's done. So today I am going to make marquees numbers, and I'm gonna cut one out on the CNC, and I'm gonna do the second one by hand so you guys can see it. And I'm gonna try to use basic tools, but I'm gonna try to use basic tools. I am gonna use my track saw because, well, it's a track saw, but you can do the same thing with a circular saw and a level. But yeah, and I have other stuff to cut out, but most of that's gonna be done in CNC, so I'm gonna be able to be in here making this one number. But yeah, so let me get this material outside because that's where my CNC is, and then I'll come back in here and start show you all the process that I use to make the marquees. All right, guys. I don't know if you can hear it, but the CNC is running outside. Periodically, I'm gonna go out there and check it, just to make sure everything's going well. I have to cut out like 4 or 5 different things with the CNC. Right now, it's cutting out the 6 for this, and then I need to cut out for a wine table, or not wine, for a champagne wall. I'm cutting out the shelves on the CNC because it's easier for that to do that while I'm doing this. But I normally use plywood for my letters. I used to use MDF back in the day, but the MDF is heavier. It's heavier, and if they get wet at the party, they just get swollen, and they're more of a hassle. And with these, I've noticed they last longer, and they're lighter, and so that helps out tremendously. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this one. This is gonna be a 0. What I do with my letters is I do 47 tall by 30, and yeah, by 30 from here to here. So I'm gonna start marking it right now. This is cut in half, so I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna have that left over. And then from the projects that I'm cutting out outside, I'm gonna start cutting the strips out of that. But technically, with one sheet of plywood, you can build a letter. Cool. Let me start. Let me grab the track. So I'm gonna use my track saw because I have it, and it's just easier for me. But one thing I do, or I have done recently, but I used to have them connected, my workbench and my saw, but it ends up being easier for me to keep a gap in between, so that way whenever I have to run cuts on a straight edge, or with the miter, with the what the hell's it called? the saw for the track saw, I won't hit the table. It'll just cut in between it. And then I also make my tables shorter than the grooves in the table saw, so that I don't have to cut them, and that way the material just kind of falls on the table. And a lot of people end up sitting them flat, and they'll connect the grooves for sleds and stuff, but I think it bothers the workbench when you're trying to do stuff, and then you gotta watch out, make sure glue doesn't get in them. So to me, it's just been easier this way. The table's sitting 1/4 inch lower than the table saw. But yeah, I marked it at 30, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. And then this plywood ends up being 48.5, so I gotta cut like 1.5 inches off of the top side, and then do that. So one other tip that I do want to give y'all is, let's say you're just starting off and you're trying to buy tools or whatnot. One thing I wish I would have bought sooner was the track saw. Like once you get comfortable with it, it's so much easier to be cutting big sheets and making them smaller, and you need straight edges and all that stuff. I went with a corded track saw because it's frustrating when you need to use a tool and the battery's dead and you have to go charge it. and I don't run with the Makita platform. That's my only Makita tool. But there's different brands. I think Ryobi makes one now, which wouldn't be bad because many times as you use it. But yeah, so I would really invest in a track saw, kind of sort of before a table saw. Because unless you're buying a big one, the little ones work. But if you're going to be trying to cut out long strips and big pieces, it gets dangerous. And the job site saws, they do work. I used a DeWalt one for years until I got this one. And then I sold the other one. But yeah, so I do recommend a track saw. They're not as expensive anymore. And there's different brands, so you can go searching. But if you're going to be making props or dealing with wood and panels and even live edge that I have back there, this comes in for a straight edge. Once you have your machine set up and everything's working, like, you don't have issues no more. Like, it just works. And then I have a 4-foot track, and then I have I think that's like 9 feet or something like that, or it's a little bit bigger than, it's like a foot. Well, yeah, it's 9 feet. It's a 9 feet track up there for the long length of the sheets. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting this, and then I'll get back to you guys. I'm gonna put you on a time lapse. Alright, back. So the only thing you're gonna need, since I'm doing it basically and I'm drawing them out, is a T-square and a square. So the way I do my letters, they're, like I said, they're 47 by 30. So most of the big letters are gonna be that. I think it's just a little different when you do like the 1, but for that you just start at the middle of a piece and then come out. It's not hard. But I'm doing this one without the CNC. The CNC's cutting the 6 right now. So what I do is, for my sides of my letters, the thickness of my letters that I want from this back wall is 9 inches. So what I do is I mark 9 inches all the way around, and then that's where the square comes in handy. And then with the T-square, I just line up everything. So I guess I don't know if I should, well, I don't think it'd be pointless to time lapse it. But yeah, so pretty much I just do it and talk to y'all while I'm doing it. But yeah, so just a square. This is a big one, so it has 9 inches on it. And you just want to run to 9 inches. You can always get your pencil and catch that groove and just write it. Same thing over here. And the reason I do it this way is, not that I'm trying to say my letters are better than your letters, but there's a lot of letters out there and they don't look proportioned once they get this big. Either the sides look too skinny, or either the sides look too skinny, or the number just looks funny. To me, these numbers, the way I've been making them, they look good. The customers are happy with them. And yeah, so we have that. It's pretty much the outline. Since it's already cut at 30, I don't have to cut anything else, mark on the outside. So I just have to mark the inside out and then do the 45s. Right, and then for the 45s, pretty much what I do is I'll come down 9 inches from the top, make my mark, come in to where I'm hitting the mark on the square, and just this way on all 4 corners. And then since I'm already right here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna line up the square and mark 9. And then I'm gonna scoot it over and mark 9 again. And then I just have to connect these lines. Same thing on that side. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Marked it, and wherever there's a line, that's what gets cut. Like I said, you can do this with a circular saw and just run it off the edge, cut them. I might do the circular saw too, just so I don't have to mess with it too much. But yeah, but I don't know, we'll see. This is already connected. Yeah, so what I'll end up doing is circular saw, and then the corners, and then just this inside pieces, I do them with the jigsaw, just because it's easier to maneuver a jigsaw into these little cuts. Alright, so you see it's cut out to 0. I'm not gonna lie, I messed up and I don't know what I was thinking or what I wasn't thinking, or I think I was just focused on this. But this is, yeah, so right now I did this at 12. It's about 12 when it comes to it, and I normally come down less. I think I come down 7 inches, and then that way this cuts 10 inches wide. This one's not gonna matter because this customer only has one, and I don't know what happened, but it just flipped my mind until right now that I was looking at it. The number doesn't look bad or nothing, but yeah, so you can do it this way because it still looks good. But I know for like the 5s and all that other stuff, it's less. It's I think I come down 7, so it ends up being 10 inches from here to here. Right now it's 12, so if I was to come down like an inch or 2, it would be about 10, and then that comes out. But I mean, this one still looks good, and it's gonna look good. But the interesting thing is, like, I'm done cutting this one out, and the CNC is still going. And I started that one earlier, and of course that's a 6, so it's taking a little longer, but this isn't. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that you don't need a CNC, you don't need a projector, you don't need nothing. You can just draw them out. This works with just about anything. Even if you leave it this size, it'll still build the other numbers. Like if you want to do a 3, pretty much you would stop it here, here, and here, cut that out, and then here come down, and then come out to halfway, and it'll be a 3. So everything else goes the same. And when you get to letters, it's a little different because, well, letters are shaped different and there's more to it. But once you get the hang of it and doing this, you can build those. Yeah, so I don't know, I guess I can make a video wrapping this one, or I can still wrap this one in this video, but I just wanted this part. The wrapping is the same as it is in the other video I made before, and these cuts end up being 45s because that's what I cut the angle at. So pretty much I raise them up an inch from the back, and then I start building with the long walls. And when you get it right, pretty much the side on this side is the same size as that side, so you just cut out 2 of those, 2 of these, and then 4 of these because they're all the same size. And then same for the inside. So these don't take that long to wrap up, and then they do get LEDs, so I think I am going to show that. I'm just not going to show the wrapping it, or when I do wrap it, I'll just do it in a time lapse. That way it doesn't take a whole bunch of time. So as I'm still waiting for the CNC, I still got to cut out sets of palm trees and then the wine racks, so that's going to take a lot of time. The one thing that sucks is that in my other shop I had more power, so I could run everything in here because it's a shed and I ran it from my house. If I run too much power in here, it interferes with the CNC, and so I can't do too much. So like normally I run a shop vac with the track saw, I do have my air cleaner on, and then I run a vacuum with the table saw. But I'm afraid if I run the vacuum, the table saw, and the CNC, it's gonna trip out the CNC. So I have to let that finish cutting out. But that's gonna cut the other number out, and then it's just staring at it until it's done, and doing small things in here. That's why I'm not trying to rush, or that's why I don't want to, like, it's gonna take me like 3-4 hours to cut out the other stuff because it's a lot, and I would have to wait for that to start building around this, and then yeah, so I'm just gonna go focus on that, make sure that gets done, and then I'll come back in here. But yeah, so I hope this was helpful. I'm trying to get more videos in this year, and I'm trying to get more used to this. The other video was kind of all over the place, but looking at yourself and recording yourself and all that stuff, it's time consuming, and it takes some getting used to. It feels weird at first, and I'm trying to get back into it. So I am gonna bring out a couple videos, like, might seem everywhere, but hopefully I get the hang of it, and then we can go from there. And one thing I did want to ask is, there's a lot of other stuff I do that's not just woodworking, and I don't know if I should make another channel for that, or should I just throw it in here. And I guess like at the beginning of the video, I know a lot of y'all are here for party rental props and stuff like that, and I'm just wondering if the I should just leave this for that and then do other stuff in another video on another channel. But I don't want to have 2 channels right now, so I am gonna throw random other things that I do, like daily stuff, and yeah, I'm gonna throw random daily stuff in it. And I do a lot of, I'm trying to be more outdoorsy. So this year I'm supposed to go hunting for the first time, and I kind of want to record that. And I'm supposed to go do hogs soon, and then when deer season starts, go get a deer. And I'm trying to get into that because I think it's fun. So yeah, I want to do that. And then I do randomly buy firearms, and I do boat stuff and other things like that. But I guess just let me know, should I just leave this for woodworking and woodworking stuff, or should I just bring in a lot of kind of everyday life things? But I guess leave a comment about that. And I hope this video helps somebody, or at least motivate somebody to do it, and or at least get started. All right, so I don't know where I'm gonna put this in there, but this is a mistake I was talking about. So normally from here to here is 10 inches, and I did mine 9 inches down. I want to say this is like, oh, I can actually check. Don't even gotta lie to you. Let me see. Oh, it's not. No, it's not. It's 7. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 7 inches from here to here, and then that's how you get that. But it's not that bad. I don't think it'll be that noticeable. Right now it is lower all the way around. It's only like an inch where these are cut a little higher. But for this particular, this is the only 0 she has, and the only 0 she's gonna buy. So it's gonna work out. But that's what I wanted to show y'all. This is how the 6 came out on the CNC, and it was already done. One thing I do with my CNC, because sometimes it goes crazy, is I'll leave 1/8 of an inch on still attached, and then I have a trim bit that's 1/4 inch, and I just run that in there to trim it all up. And that way, because there's times where like this will fall and it'll hit the CNC, or this will shift and then it'll come out wonky. So I try to leave just a little bit more on the back and then cut it out afterwards, or leave bigger tabs.